The information provided in this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only and does not constitute professional legal, financial, tax, or investment advice. Starting and operating an automotive repair business involves significant financial risk and requires compliance with local, state, and federal regulations, including environmental and safety standards. The automotive industry is subject to market volatility, and individual results may vary based on location, management, and economic conditions. Viewers are strongly encouraged to conduct their own due diligence and consult with qualified professionals, such as attorneys, certified public accountants, and business consultants, before making any financial commitments or legal decisions. The creator of this content assumes no liability for any actions taken based on the information provided herein. 90% of independent auto repair shops in the United States fail within their first 5 years, not because the owners are bad mechanics, but because they are unprepared entrepreneurs. Every year, thousands of talented technicians walk away from stable dealership jobs to chase the American dream of shop ownership, only to find themselves buried under a mountain of EPA regulations, skyrocketing commercial rents, and a predatory labor market. While you are under a lift trying to diagnose a complex electrical fault on a 2024 hybrid, the business side of your operation is often bleeding cash through inefficient parts procurement and unoptimized labor rates. We are currently witnessing a massive shift in the U.S. automotive landscape, where the average age of a vehicle on the road has climbed to a record high of 12.5 years. This creates a massive opportunity, yet most new shop owners are still operating with a 1990s mindset in a 2026 digital economy. If you think that simply being the best mechanic in your town is enough to keep your base full and your bank account growing, you are already on the path to becoming another statistic in the Small Business Administration failure reports. This masterclass is designed to stop that downward spiral before it starts. Today, we are launching into a deep dive of the Comprehensive Auto Repair Shop Business Plan, a document that functions as your tactical GPS through the most competitive aftermarket environment in history. In this first part of our 10-part series, we are addressing the fundamental structural reality of the U.S. auto care industry. We are solving the problem of directionless growth. Most entrepreneurs start with a toolbox and a lease, but they lack a scalable roadmap. We are going to bridge the gap between working in your business and working on your business. By the end of this session, you will understand the macroeconomic forces currently driving the $50 billion independent repair sector and how to position your specific business plan to attract investors, secure high-value commercial leases, and dominate your local zip code. Historical trends indicate that the transition from a technician to a shop owner is one of the most difficult professional leaps an individual can make. In the United States, the automotive aftermarket is a behemoth, but it is also highly fragmented. You are competing against massive franchises with multi-million-dollar marketing budgets and national supply chains. To survive, your business plan must be a living, breathing strategy that accounts for the silver tsunami of retiring shop owners, the rise of electric vehicle infrastructure, and the increasing complexity of advanced driver assistance systems, or ADAS. According to data from the Auto Care Association, the demand for high-tech repair is outstripping the supply of qualified shops. This means the problem isn't a lack of customers. The problem is a lack of structured, professionalized businesses capable of handling modern consumer expectations. For the U.S. entrepreneur, the stakes have never been higher. Commercial real estate in prime suburban corridors is at an all-time high, and the cost of diagnostic equipment can easily reach 6 figures before you even open your doors for the first customer. This is why a back-of-the-napkin plan is a recipe for bankruptcy. We are going to look at case studies of shops that scaled from single-bay garages to multi-location enterprises by focusing on their business architecture, rather than just their mechanical skills. We are talking about defining your value proposition in a way that makes the price shoppers disappear and brings in the high-margin, loyal fleet accounts and European luxury owners who value expertise over the lowest estimate. In this session, we are setting the stage for everything that follows: the market analysis, the operational workflows, the financial projections, and the exit strategy. We are answering the why before we get to the how. Why would a customer choose your shop over the dealership 5 miles away? Why would a top-tier lead technician work for you when they could earn a high 6-figure salary at a corporate chain? Why would a local bank look at your business plan and see a low-risk investment rather than a hobbyist pipe dream? We are moving away from the grease monkey stereotype and into the reality of being a high-level executive in the transportation technology sector. The American consumer is currently under immense financial pressure. With the average new car price hovering near $50,000, the repair versus replace math has shifted heavily in favor of the repair shop. However, today's consumer is also more informed and more demanding than ever. They expect digital vehicle inspections sent directly to their smartphones, they expect transparent pricing models, and they expect a level of professionalism that many independent shops simply fail to provide. Your business plan is the tool that ensures you can meet these expectations without burning out. It is about building a system where the shop produces profit even when you aren't the one holding the wrench. We will explore how to analyze your specific local demographic. If you are in a high-density urban area like Chicago or New York, your business plan will look drastically different than if you are opening a heavy-duty diesel shop in rural Texas. We will examine the data points you need to collect: traffic counts, competitor density, and the average household income of your target radius. We are going to discuss the historical trends of labor rates across different U.S. regions and how to calculate a loaded labor rate that actually covers your overhead, your technician's benefits, and your own profit margin. This isn't just about writing a document to get a loan. This is about building a fortress around your financial future. We are going to dismantle the myths of the industry and replace them with data-driven strategies. We are looking at the potential outcomes of a well-executed plan versus the chaotic reality of a wait-and-see approach. By the time we finish this deep dive, you will have the clarity of a seasoned CEO. You will understand that an auto repair shop is essentially a high-stakes logistics and customer service company that happens to fix cars. The bridge between your current reality and a multi-million-dollar automotive empire is the business plan we are about to construct. We are starting with the foundation, the hook that pulls your customers in and the promise that keeps them coming back. This is the blueprint for the modern U.S. automotive entrepreneur. Let's get to work. To understand the weight of a business plan in 2026, you have to look at the landscape of the American automotive industry through the eyes of someone like Marcus, a master technician in Charlotte, North Carolina. Marcus has 20 years of experience, a chest full of snap-on tools worth more than his house, and a reputation for fixing European cars that even the local dealerships can't figure out. For years, Marcus believed that his technical prowess was his greatest asset. He opened his own 3-bay shop with a small loan and a lot of ambition. But 6 months in, Marcus realized that being a great mechanic and being a great shop owner are two entirely different professions. He was drowning in parts returns, his bay productivity was hovering at 50%, and he couldn't explain to his bank why his revenue was high but his bank account was empty. Marcus is a case study in what happens when you have a motor but no transmission. A business plan is that transmission. It is what converts your raw power and skill into actual forward momentum and sustainable profit. Imagine if you could predict exactly how many oil changes, brake jobs, and diagnostic hours you needed to sell every single day just to keep the lights on. This is called your break-even point, and it is the first pillar of your 2026 business plan. In the current economic climate, where inflation has fluctuated and parts costs have seen historical trends of 5 to 8% annual increases, guessing is a form of professional negligence. You need to account for your fixed costs, which remain the same whether you fix one car or 100. This includes your commercial lease, which in growing hubs like Phoenix or Nashville can eat 30% of your gross revenue if you aren't careful. It includes your garage keeper's insurance, your utilities, and the subscription fees for your shop management software and diagnostic databases like ALDATA or Identifix. Then you have your variable costs. This is where most U.S. entrepreneurs lose their shirt. If you are paying a technician $35 an hour, but you aren't accounting for their employer-paid payroll taxes, their health insurance contributions, their workers' comp, and the unproductive time they spend cleaning the shop or waiting for parts, your actual cost for that labor might be closer to $60 an hour. If your business plan doesn't factor in this fully burdened labor rate, you are effectively paying your customers to let you fix their cars. Historical trends in the U.S. show that the most successful shops maintain a gross profit on labor of at least 65% and a gross profit on parts of at least 45%. If your plan doesn't show a path to these numbers, a lender will see your business as a liability rather than an asset. Let's look at a scenario involving a shop in a suburban area of New Jersey. The owner, Sarah, decided to specialize in electric vehicle and hybrid repair. In 2026, with the sheer volume of high-voltage vehicles reaching the used car market, her business plan focused on a niche that her competitors were afraid of. She didn't just list her services. She detailed the specific equipment she would need, such as insulated tools and specialized lifts, and the certification path for her staff. By doing this, she was able to secure a Small Business Administration 7 a loan because she proved there was a massive supply-demand gap in her specific zip code. She wasn't just another general repair shop. She was a specialized technology center. This is the level of detail your executive summary needs to convey. You are not just fixing cars. You are solving a specific logistical problem for a specific group of people. Your business plan must also address the massive shift in consumer behavior. The 2026 customer does not want to call you for an update. They want a text message with a link to a digital vehicle inspection. They want to see high-resolution photos of their leaking water pump and their worn-out brake pads. If your operational plan doesn't include the implementation of these digital workflows, you are planning for obsolescence. Case studies of shops that transition to 100% digital inspections show potential outcomes of a 20 to 30% increase in average repair order value. Why? Because when a customer sees the problem with their own eyes on their smartphone screen, the trust barrier vanishes. Your business plan needs to outline the technology stack you will use to facilitate this transparency. Furthermore, we have to talk about the competitive analysis section of your plan. Most people just list the 3 closest shops and say they will be better because they are more honest. That is not a strategy. You need to perform a SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. If the shop down the street has 10 bays and a massive marketing budget, don't try to out-advertise them. Perhaps your strength is a concierge service where you pick up and drop off vehicles for busy professionals, a segment that has shown a high willingness to pay a premium for convenience in post-2020 urban centers. Perhaps your opportunity lies in the fact that the local dealership has a 3-week wait time for service, and your business plan focuses on a lightning-fast turnaround for common maintenance items. The U.S. market is also seeing a consolidation trend. Large MSOs or multi-shop operations are buying up independent garages at a rapid pace. This might seem like a threat, but in your business plan it can be framed as an exit strategy. If you build your shop with standardized operating procedures, documented workflows, and a clean financial history, your business becomes an attractive acquisition target for these larger entities 5 or 10 years down the road. You are building a turnkey system, not just a job for yourself. Every process, from how the phone is answered to how the floors are scrubbed at night, should be part of the operational manual referenced in your business plan. Consider the impact of the right to repair movement and how it affects your long-term viability. In 2026, data access is the new oil. Your plan should mention how you intend to stay compliant with evolving vehicle communication protocols. Will you invest in J2534 pass-through programming? Will you have a dedicated diagnostic technician? Lenders and partners want to see that you understand the technical hurdles of the next decade, not just the next week. You need to demonstrate that you are aware of the shifting landscape of the aftermarket, where software updates are becoming as common as oil changes. As we move deeper into this guide, we have to address the most critical and often most failed aspect of the auto repair business: the people. Your business plan is a document that must attract talent as much as it attracts capital. In a country facing a chronic shortage of skilled tradespeople, how will your shop stand out? It isn't just about the hourly wage. It's about the culture, the training budget, and the career path you provide. If you don't have a section in your plan dedicated to technician recruitment and retention, your bays will eventually sit empty, regardless of how many customers are knocking on your door. This level of preparation might feel overwhelming, but it is the difference between a shop that survives and a shop that dominates. We have covered the financial foundations, the importance of niche specialization, and the necessity of digital integration. But there is a silent killer in this industry that we haven't touched on yet. Something that can wipe out your entire year's profit in a single month if you aren't prepared. It's the hidden complexity of your local regulatory environment and the specific legal structures that protect your personal assets from your business liabilities. If you get the legal structure wrong on day one, nothing else in this plan will matter when the first major dispute arises. We are about to dive into the legal and regulatory minefield that every U.S. shop owner must navigate to stay in the game. Navigating the legal and regulatory landscape in 2026 is no longer about just hanging a sign and buying a few sets of wrenches. It is about building a structural fortress that separates your personal life from the liabilities inherent in heavy machinery and high-voltage systems. Consider the case of David, a shop owner in Denver, Colorado. David operated as a sole proprietorship for 3 years because it was the easiest way to get started. When a vehicle on his lift suffered a catastrophic failure due to a faulty weld on a structural component, the resulting property damage exceeded his insurance limits. Because he lacked a formal corporate veil, his personal savings, his home equity, and even his personal vehicles were legally exposed. This scenario is a stark reminder of why the legal structure section of your business plan is the most critical page for your long-term security. In the United States, most automotive entrepreneurs choose between a limited liability company or an S corporation. An LLC is often the go-to for its flexibility and ease of management, providing a clear boundary between business debts and personal assets. However, as your shop scales, an S-corp election can offer significant potential outcomes regarding self-employment tax savings. Historical trends show that once an auto repair business surpasses a certain threshold of net profit, the tax advantages of an S-corp can save the owner thousands of dollars annually, which can then be reinvested into advanced diagnostic equipment. Your business plan must clearly state which entity you are choosing and why, demonstrating to lenders that you have a sophisticated understanding of asset protection. Beyond the corporate structure, you must address the local zoning and environmental hurdles that are specific to the automotive industry in 2026. Imagine if you signed a 5-year lease on a beautiful facility in a revitalized industrial district in Atlanta, only to find out 6 months later that the city has strict ordinances against overnight outdoor vehicle storage. Your business plan would be dead on arrival. You must detail your plan for compliance with the Environmental Protection Agency and local wastewater authorities. In many U.S. jurisdictions, you are required to have oil water separators in your drains and strict manifests for the disposal of hazardous materials like used motor oil, coolant, and lead-acid batteries. The rise of electric vehicles has added a new layer to this regulatory minefield. In 2026, many states are introducing specific safety requirements for shops handling high-voltage lithium-ion batteries. Your business plan should include a section on shop safety and OSHA compliance. This isn't just about avoiding fines. It is about protecting your most valuable asset, your employees. You need to outline your hazard communication plan and your lockout-tagout procedures for EV servicing. A single OSHA violation can cost an independent shop tens of thousands of dollars, wiping out an entire quarter of profit. By including a comprehensive safety protocol in your business plan, you signal to your insurance carrier that you are a low-risk operator, which can lead to lower premiums over time. Speaking of insurance, this is where many business plans fall short. You cannot just list insurance as a line item expense. You need to specify the types of coverage required for a modern U.S. shop. This includes garage keeper's liability, which covers damage to customers' vehicles while they are in your care, and workers' compensation, which is mandatory in almost every state. In 2026, you also need to strongly consider cyber liability insurance. As shops move toward cloud-based management systems and store sensitive customer data, they become targets for ransomware. Case studies from the past 2 years show that small businesses are often the most vulnerable because they lack the IT infrastructure of larger corporations. Your business plan should account for the cost of protecting your digital footprint just as much as your physical shop. Then there is the issue of licensing and permits. In California, for example, you must be registered with the Bureau of Automotive Repair. In other states, you might need specific certifications for mobile air conditioning service or state safety and emissions inspections. Your business plan needs a checklist of every permit required by your municipality, county, and state. This includes your general business license, your sales tax ID, and your federal employer identification number. Failing to have these in order can lead to a forced closure during your most critical first year of operation. Let's talk about the legalities of the customer relationship. The 2026 consumer is litigious and well-informed. Your business plan should mention your intent to use standardized, attorney-reviewed repair authorizations and disclosure statements. In many states, you are legally required to provide a written estimate before any work begins, and to get additional authorization if the price exceeds that estimate by a certain percentage. Case studies show that the number one cause of merchant disputes and credit card chargebacks in the auto industry is a lack of clear communication regarding the scope of work. Your plan should detail the digital workflow that captures customer signatures electronically, providing a clear paper trail that protects the business in the event of a dispute. Furthermore, we must look at the labor laws that govern your relationship with your technicians. The U.S. Department of Labor has strict rules regarding the classification of independent contractors versus employees. Many shop owners try to save on taxes by calling their technicians contractors, but in the eyes of the IRS, if you control when they work, where they work, and what tools they use, they are employees. The penalties for misclassification are severe. Your business plan must show a commitment to legal hiring practices, including the use of I-9 forms for employment eligibility and compliance with the Fair Labor Standards Act regarding overtime and minimum wage. In the 2026 landscape, intellectual property is also becoming a factor for independent shops. If you develop a unique brand name, a proprietary diagnostic process, or a specific software integration, you need to plan for trademarking and protection. Even your shop's logo and domain name are assets that need to be secured. A common mistake is building a brand on a name that is already trademarked by another shop across the country, leading to a costly cease and desist letter, just as your marketing is starting to gain traction. As we wrap up this deep dive into the legal and regulatory foundation, it is clear that being a shop owner is a multidisciplinary role. You are a mechanic, a manager, and a compliance officer. But even with the most secure legal structure and a perfect safety record, your shop will fail if you don't have a constant stream of high-quality leads. The days of relying on a good location and word of mouth are over. In the next part, we are going to look at the psychological triggers of the 2026 automotive consumer and the aggressive marketing strategies you need to deploy to outmaneuver the national chains. We are moving from the back office to the front lines of customer acquisition. How do you make your shop the only logical choice in a sea of competitors? The answer lies in a marketing machine that works while you sleep. In 2026, the marketing landscape for a US-based auto repair shop has moved far beyond the traditional yellow pages or a simple sign by the side of the road. To build a business plan that actually drives cars into your bays, you must understand that your digital presence is now your primary storefront. Consider the case of Elena, who opened a specialized hybrid and electric vehicle repair shop in Austin, Texas. Elena realized that while her competitors were still spending thousands of dollars on direct mail flyers that mostly ended up in the trash, her target audience was making split-second decisions based on Google search results and local map rankings. Her business plan didn't just mention marketing. It detailed a comprehensive local SEO strategy designed to capture high-intent customers at the exact moment their check engine light flickered on. Local SEO is the cornerstone of modern automotive customer acquisition. Historical trends show that over 80% of consumers now use a search engine to find local services, and for auto repair, the proximity factor is massive. Your business plan needs to outline how you will optimize your Google business profile. This isn't just about filling out your address and phone number. In 2026, Google rewards shops that provide high-resolution photos of their facility, detailed service lists, and most importantly, a consistent stream of 5-star reviews. Imagine if a potential customer in Seattle searches for brake repair near me, and your shop appears at the very top with 300 positive reviews and a photo of a clean, professional waiting room. That is an open loop in the customer's mind that is only closed by booking an appointment with you. Case studies of high-growth independent shops suggest that a dedicated focus on review generation can lead to potential outcomes where organic lead generation replaces the need for expensive paid advertising within the first 18 months. Your plan should specify the tools you will use, such as automated text messages sent to customers the moment their vehicle is picked up, asking for a review while the positive experience is fresh in their minds. This is the difference between a shop that struggles for visibility and one that dominates the local search results. However, getting them to your website is only half the battle. Your business plan must address the conversion rate optimization of your digital footprint. In 2026, the American consumer expects a seamless online booking experience. If your website requires a customer to wait for a callback to schedule a simple oil change, you are losing business to the franchise down the street that offers real-time calendar integration. Your plan should detail the implementation of an online booking portal that syncs directly with your shop management software. This reduces the administrative burden on your service advisors and provides the instant gratification that modern users demand. We also need to discuss the power of video marketing. YouTube and TikTok are no longer just for entertainment. They are powerful trust-building tools. Imagine if your business plan included a strategy for producing short, educational videos showing your technicians performing common repairs or explaining the importance of preventative maintenance. For a shop owner like Jason in Columbus, Ohio, producing a weekly video titled "What That Squeaking Sound in Your Honda" actually means helped him establish himself as a local authority. By the time a customer walked into his shop, the trust was already built. They weren't just looking for a mechanic, they were looking for Jason. This reduces price sensitivity and increases the likelihood of the customer approving recommended repairs. Another critical element of your 2026 marketing strategy is the use of Google Local Services Ads, or LSAs. Unlike traditional pay-per-click advertising where you pay for every click regardless of whether it results in a phone call, LSAs operate on a pay-per-lead basis. This is particularly effective for auto repair because it places your shop at the very top of the search results with a Google Guaranteed badge, which significantly boosts consumer confidence. Your business plan should allocate a specific budget for LSAs, especially during the first 6 months of operation when your organic rankings are still building. Let's pivot to the psychological aspect of marketing, the digital vehicle inspection as a sales tool. While DVI is an operational process, its primary function in a business plan is marketing and retention. When you send a customer a comprehensive report with photos and videos of their vehicle, you are providing a level of transparency that few shops can match. This transparency is the ultimate marketing tool. It transforms the service advisor from a salesperson into a consultant. Case studies show that shops using DVIs consistently see an increase in their average repair order because customers feel empowered by the data rather than pressured by a technician they can't see. Your plan should explain how you will market this transparency as a key differentiator in your local area. Retention is where the real profit is made in the automotive industry. It is significantly more expensive to acquire a new customer than it is to keep an existing one. Your business plan must detail a customer relationship management strategy that goes beyond just sending a reminder for the next oil change. In 2026, you should be looking at data-driven marketing. For example, if you know a customer's vehicle is nearing the 100,000-mile mark, your CRM should automatically trigger a targeted email or text message explaining the specific maintenance required for that milestone. This proactive approach shows the customer that you are looking out for their vehicle's longevity and their wallet. Furthermore, community involvement remains a powerful, albeit traditional, marketing tactic. Your business plan should outline how you will engage with local organizations, sponsor youth sports teams, or host car care clinics for new drivers. In a world that is increasingly digital, these physical touchpoints build a level of community trust that a Google ad simply cannot replicate. For a shop owner in a tight-knit community in Georgia, being the shop that teaches local high schoolers how to change a tire can lead to lifelong customer loyalty from entire families. As we analyze these marketing strategies, we must also look at the financial implications. Marketing is not an expense. It is an investment in your customer acquisition cost. You need to track exactly how much you are spending to bring one new car into a bay. If your plan shows that you are spending $50 to acquire a customer with a $300 lifetime value, you have a scalable business model. If you don't know these numbers, you are just throwing money at the wall. In the 2026 US market, the competition is fierce, but most of it is still playing by the old rules. By integrating local SEO, video authority building, high-transparency digital inspections, and aggressive retention strategies into your business plan, you are creating a marketing machine that doesn't just attract any customer, but the right customer. You are looking for the customer who values quality, transparency, and convenience over the lowest possible price. But even with the best marketing in the world, your shop will fail if your operations are a mess. If you bring in 40 cars a week but your technicians are constantly waiting for parts or tripping over each other in the bays, your marketing will only accelerate your bankruptcy. In the next part, we are going to dive deep into the engine room of your business, the operational workflows. We are going to look at how to optimize your bay productivity, manage your parts inventory in a just-in-time economy, and design a shop layout that maximizes every square inch of your expensive real estate. We are moving from getting the cars into the shop to getting them out of the shop with maximum efficiency and zero comebacks. Efficiency in a 2026 auto repair shop is not measured by how hard your technicians work, but by how little they have to move to complete a task. In the United States, commercial real estate costs in metropolitan areas like Phoenix or Miami have reached levels where every square foot of your shop floor must generate a specific dollar amount per hour. If your technician has to walk 50 feet to the parts counter or spend 20 minutes hunting for a shared scan tool, you are flushing your profit margin down the drain. Consider the case of Robert, who managed a 5-bay shop in Denver. Robert noticed that his lead technician, despite being the most skilled, was consistently underbilling his hours. After a week of observation, Robert realized the technician was spending nearly 90 minutes a day just managing shop clutter and moving vehicles in and out of the bays because the shop layout was congested. By implementing a lean workflow and a dedicated bay for quick services, Robert saw potential outcomes including a 15% increase in weekly billable hours without adding a single new staff member. The first operational pillar of your business plan must be the optimized shop layout. In a modern US shop, you need to think in terms of work cells. Each bay should be equipped with its own dedicated set of essential tools, fluid lines, and a computer terminal for the shop management system. Imagine if your technicians never had to leave their bay to look up a torque spec or to document a finding on a digital inspection. Historical trends show that shops utilizing decentralized tool stations and integrated tablets for every technician reduced dead time by 20%. Your plan should detail the physical flow of a vehicle from the moment it enters the lot. Is there a designated drop-off zone that doesn't block the service bays? Is there a clear path for parts delivery drivers that doesn't interfere with technician movement? These are the granular details that separate a chaotic garage from a high-performance repair center. Next, we must address the critical bottleneck of parts procurement. In 2026, the supply chain is faster than ever, but it is also more complex. A business plan that relies on a technician calling the local parts store for every single job is a plan for failure. You need an integrated electronic parts cataloging system that talks directly to your shop management software. When a technician identifies a failed alternator during a digital inspection, the service advisor should be able to see the price and availability from multiple vendors across your city with a single click. Case studies of shops that have automated their parts ordering process show a significant reduction in vehicle hang time, which is the time a car sits in a bay waiting for a part to arrive. Your goal should be just-in-time delivery. If a part takes 2 hours to arrive, that bay is dead for 2 hours. Your business plan should outline your primary and secondary parts partners, and perhaps even a tertiary source for specialized European or electric vehicle components that may have longer lead times. Workflow management is the third pillar. In the US market, we often use the 3-to-1 ratio, 3 bays for every 1 service advisor. The service advisor is the air traffic controller of your shop. If the advisor is overwhelmed, the technicians will eventually run out of work or start working on the wrong things. Your operational plan should detail the use of a digital dispatch board. This allows everyone in the shop to see in real time which vehicles are in which stage of the repair process: pending inspection, awaiting parts, in progress, or quality control. For an entrepreneur like Carlos in San Diego, switching from a physical whiteboard to a digital dispatch system allowed him to manage 2 separate locations from a single tablet. It eliminated the constant shouting across the shop floor and ensured that high-priority fleet vehicles were always moved to the front of the line. Speaking of quality control, this is where the zero comeback rule comes into play. A comeback is the most expensive job a shop can do because it costs twice the labor and 0 additional revenue, not to mention the damage to your reputation. Your business plan must include a mandatory quality control checklist for every vehicle before it is marked as ready for pickup. This includes a final scan for codes, a check of fluid levels, and a test drive by someone other than the technician who performed the repair. Historical trends in the US aftermarket indicate that shops with a formal QC process have a 98% customer satisfaction rate, compared to 85% for those that rely on the technician's word. This process must be documented and non-negotiable. Let's look at the operational reality of the 2026 technician shortage. Because skilled labor is at a premium, you cannot afford to have your master technicians performing low-level tasks like oil changes or tire rotations. Your business plan should propose a tiered labor structure. Use entry-level GS or general service technicians for maintenance work, while reserving your A-level technicians for complex diagnostics and heavy engine or electrical work. This maximizes your effective labor rate. If you bill out a master technician at $180 an hour but they are doing a job that only commands a $60 labor value, you are losing money. By structuring your operations to match the skill level to the task, you optimize your payroll and keep your high-level talent engaged with challenging work. Inventory management is another area where capital gets trapped. In the past, shops kept thousands of dollars in filters, belts, and hoses on the shelf. In 2026, with rapid delivery from distributors like Worldpac or Advance Auto Parts, carrying heavy inventory is often unnecessary. Your business plan should focus on high-turnover items only: common oil filters, synthetic lubricants, and perhaps the most frequent brake pads for the top 5 vehicle models in your area. Everything else should be ordered on demand. Use the data from your shop management system to identify your dead stock. If a part has been sitting on your shelf for more than 90 days, it is a liability, not an asset. Finally, we must consider the environmental and safety operations. In the US, OSHA and the EPA have strict mandates on how a shop must function. Your operational plan should include a schedule for equipment maintenance. When was the last time your lifts were inspected? When was the compressor oil changed? Neglecting your shop equipment leads to downtime and safety risks. A professional business plan includes a preventative maintenance schedule for the shop itself, ensuring that your tools are as reliable as the cars you fix. Imagine if your shop ran so smoothly that you could step away for a week and the revenue wouldn't dip. That is the potential outcome of a well-documented operational manual. You are building a system where the process, not the person, is the hero. We have optimized the bays, streamlined the parts, and tiered the labor. But there is one thing that can still bring the entire operation to a screeching halt: the money. If you don't understand your margins, your overhead, and your cash flow, you are just a highly paid hobbyist. In the next part, we are going to open the books. We are diving into the financial projections, the profit and loss statements, and the specific KPIs you need to track to ensure your shop isn't just busy, but actually profitable. We are going to find out where the money is hiding in your shop and how to keep it there. Financial management in a 2026 automotive repair environment is the equivalent of monitoring the live data stream on a modern vehicle's engine control module. If you are not watching the fuel trims and oxygen sensors of your business, the entire system can go lean and seize up before you even realize there is a problem. In the United States, the average independent shop operates on a razor-thin net profit margin of approximately 5 to 7%. However, case studies of top-tier shops, those that follow a rigorous business plan, show potential outcomes of 15 to 25% net profit. To get there, you must move beyond looking at your bank balance at the end of the month and start analyzing the granular key performance indicators that drive your daily success. Imagine if you were like Kevin, a shop owner in Orlando, Florida. In early 2026, Kevin's shop was busier than ever. His bays were full, his technicians were working overtime, and his total revenue was hitting record highs. Yet, when he went to pay his parts vendors at the end of the month, he realized he barely had enough left to cover his own salary. Kevin was suffering from a classic case of low effective labor rate and unoptimized parts margins. He was busy, but he wasn't profitable. His business plan lacked a defined financial steering system. The first document your plan must master is the profit and loss statement, specifically the gross profit margin. In the U.S. automotive aftermarket, there are two primary revenue streams: labor and parts. Historical trends indicate that for a shop to remain healthy, you should target a 65 to 75% gross profit on labor and a 45 to 50% gross profit on parts. If you are charging $160 an hour for labor but your effective labor rate, which is the actual money collected per billable hour, is only $95, you have a massive leak. This happens when advisors give away diagnostic time for free or when technicians are inefficient. Your business plan must outline exactly how you will track and maintain your effective labor rate. Let's look at the parts matrix, a tool that is often misunderstood by new entrepreneurs. Many shop owners simply double the price of every part they buy, 100% markup. While this works for a $20 oil filter, it makes you laughably uncompetitive on a $2,000 transmission. Conversely, if you only mark up a light bulb by 20%, you are losing money when you factor in the time spent ordering and handling that part. A sophisticated business plan in 2026 utilizes a sliding scale parts matrix. You might have a 300% markup on items under $5 and a 25% markup on items over $1,000. This ensures that your overall parts department maintains. We must also talk about the average repair order, or ARO. This is the total revenue divided by the number of invoices. In 2026, with the increasing complexity of vehicles, a general repair shop in a suburban area should be aiming for an ARO between $600 and $800. If your ARO is stuck at $200, you are essentially running a high-volume, low-margin oil change express, which is a difficult model to sustain in a high-rent environment. Your business plan should explain how the digital vehicle inspection process we discussed earlier will be the primary driver of your ARO. By identifying all the necessary maintenance and safety items on every car, you aren't upselling. You are educating the customer on the reality of their vehicle's condition. Operational overhead or fixed costs are the silent killers of the American dream. These are the costs that hit your ledger even if you don't turn a single wrench. Rent, utilities, shop management software, and loan interest payments. In 2026, commercial utility rates in many U.S. states have seen historical trends of significant increases. Your business plan must include a break-even analysis. You need to know exactly how many hours of labor you need to sell every single day just to hit zero. If your monthly fixed costs are $30,000 and your average gross profit per labor hour is $100, you need to sell 300 hours of labor a month, or roughly 15 hours a day across all your bays, just to cover your overhead. Anything after that is your actual profit. Consider the case study of Emily, who opened a specialized European import shop in Seattle. Emily's rent was astronomical, but her business plan focused on high-margin, complex diagnostics. Her ARO was consistently over $1,000. Because she understood her numbers, she knew she didn't need the high car count of a general repair shop. She focused on fewer, higher-quality interactions. This allowed her to provide a concierge experience that justified her higher labor rate. This is the power of financial clarity. It dictates your entire brand strategy. Your business plan also needs a section on cash flow management. Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, but cash is king. In the auto repair world, you often have to pay for parts before the customer pays you for the repair. If you have 3 or 4 big engine jobs going at once, you could have $10,000 in parts costs floating out there. You need a cash reserve or a revolving line of credit to handle these swings. Your plan should specify that you require a deposit on any repair over a certain dollar amount, a common practice in 2026 to mitigate the risk of parts-heavy jobs. Lastly, we must address the exit strategy and the valuation of your business. In the US, a healthy shop is typically valued at a multiple of its EBITDA, or earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. If your financials are messy and your personal expenses are tangled up with the business, your shop is worth significantly less to a potential buyer. By maintaining clean, professional financial records as outlined in your business plan, you are building an asset that can eventually be sold for a significant sum, providing you with a comfortable retirement. You now have a blueprint for a shop that prints money rather than just spending it. You have optimized your margins, tracked your technicians' time, and calculated your break-even point to the penny. But all the financial data in the world won't save you if you can't find the right people to execute the work. In 2026, the technician shortage is no longer a localized problem. It is a national crisis. You are competing for talent not just with other shops, but with tech giants and specialized aerospace firms. In the next part, we are going to dive into the most difficult component of your business plan, the human resources strategy. We are going to look at how to recruit, train, and retain a team of A-level technicians who will treat your shop like it is their own. We are moving from the spreadsheets to the soul of your business. The technician shortage in 2026 is no longer a looming threat. It is a full-blown operational reality for every auto repair shop in the United States. According to historical trends from organizations like TechForce Foundation, the gap between the number of graduating technicians and the number of retirees has reached a critical tipping point. This means your business plan cannot treat hiring as an afterthought. You are no longer just competing with the shop across the street. You are competing with fleet giants like Amazon, specialized aerospace manufacturers, and even remote tech sectors for the same mechanically inclined, high-aptitude talent. To build a sustainable shop, your human resources strategy must be as sophisticated as your diagnostic equipment. Consider the case of Michael, a shop owner in Nashville, Tennessee. In late 2025, Michael lost his lead diagnostic technician to a local electric vehicle manufacturing plant that offered a climate-controlled environment, a signing bonus, and a 4-day work week. Michael's revenue dropped 40% in 1 month because he didn't have a talent pipeline or a retention strategy beyond a competitive hourly wage. He was reactionary rather than proactive. A modern business plan must include a dedicated recruitment and retention section that outlines a culture of growth. This is the difference between a shop that has a revolving door of disgruntled mechanics and one that boasts a 10-year average employee tenure. Imagine if your shop was the one that every technician in your county wanted to work for. This doesn't happen by accident. It happens by designing a workplace that addresses the modern American worker's needs: professional development, work-life balance, and physical environment. In your business plan, you must detail your shop's physical standards. In 2026, the best technicians are moving away from dark, dingy, unconditioned garages. Case studies of top-performing shops show potential outcomes of higher retention when investments are made in high-efficiency LED lighting, advanced shop ventilation, and climate control. If your plan includes a budget for shop cooling in a state like Arizona or Florida, you are already ahead of 90% of your competition in the eyes of a prospective hire. Furthermore, let's talk about the compensation model. The traditional flat-rate system is under intense scrutiny in the U.S. labor market. While it rewards speed, it often penalizes technicians for complex diagnostic work or training time. Your business plan should explore hybrid compensation models. For example, a base salary plus a production bonus. This provides the financial security technicians crave, while maintaining the incentive for high productivity. Historical trends indicate that shops offering a guaranteed base pay with clear, data-driven performance tiers have a significantly lower turnover rate. You should also include a section on benefits that were once considered corporate luxuries, but are now essential. Subsidized health insurance, a 401k match, and paid time off for ongoing ASE certifications. Recruitment in 2026 is an active, not a passive process. Your plan should outline a partnership strategy with local vocational schools and community colleges. Don't wait for them to graduate. You should be offering paid internships and apprenticeships. Look at the success of the Ford Asset or Toyota T10 programs as case studies. By bringing in a student for 10 hours a week, you are not just getting low-cost labor for maintenance tasks. You are auditioning a future lead technician and molding them to your shop's specific culture and workflow standards. This grow-your-own strategy is the only way to combat the national shortage long-term. Training is another pillar of the human resources section. The pace of automotive technology in 2026 is blistering. If your technicians aren't attending at least 40 hours of external training per year, your shop's technical capability is degrading every day. Your business plan should allocate a specific annual budget for training, not just the cost of the classes, but the cost of the labor hours lost while the technician is away. Whether it is ADAS calibration, high-voltage safety, or advanced oscilloscope diagnostics, a trained technician is a more profitable technician. This is a value proposition you can market to your customers. Our technicians are factory-trained and certified in 2026 technology. We also have to address the role of the service advisor. This individual is the face of your business and the primary driver of your average repair order. In the US, the most successful advisors are no longer just order takers. They are high-level communicators and educators. Your business plan should detail the training program for your advisors, focusing on emotional intelligence, conflict resolution, and the technical literacy required to explain a complex hybrid inverter failure to a layperson. Case studies show that an advisor who can effectively use digital vehicle inspections to build trust can increase a shop's gross profit by 20% without changing a single labor rate. Culture is often dismissed as a soft metric, but in a high-stress environment like an auto shop, it is the most durable asset you have. Your business plan should describe your shop's core values. Are you a shop that prizes transparency above all else? Do you have a no-blame policy for technical errors to encourage honest reporting and learning? These cultural pillars should be reflected in your daily morning huddles and your weekly shop meetings. Imagine the potential outcomes of a team that feels psychologically safe enough to admit a mistake on a high-stakes repair, rather than hiding it and risking a catastrophic comeback. Lastly, you must plan for the silver tsunami. Thousands of the most experienced technicians in the US are reaching retirement age in the next 5 years. Your business plan should include a succession and mentorship program. How will the 30 years of knowledge in your lead technician's head be transferred to your 20-year-old apprentice? By pairing your master techs with your junior techs in a formal mentorship structure, you ensure that your shop's intellectual property stays within your walls, even when your veterans retire. Building a team in 2026 requires you to be a leader, not just a boss. You are building a professional sports team where every player has a specialized role, and everyone is working toward the same scoreboard. We have covered the recruitment, the compensation, the training, and the culture. But even the best team in the world will struggle if they are fighting against an outdated brand identity or a website that looks like it was designed in 2005. In the next part, we are going to look at the visual and digital identity of your shop. We are diving into branding and customer experience. How do you move from being the local grease monkey to becoming a premium automotive service brand that commands higher rates and attracts the best cars in your city? We are going to build the outward-facing shell that protects and promotes everything we have built inside. In the high-stakes world of the 2026 American automotive aftermarket, your brand is the silent salesman that works when you are under a car and your service advisor is on the phone. It is the emotional and visual shorthand that tells a customer whether you are a professional technology center or a disorganized garage. Historical trends show that the U.S. consumer is increasingly moving away from the grease monkey stereotype. They are looking for a service experience that mirrors what they receive at a high-end Apple store or a boutique hotel. If your business plan treats branding as just a logo and a color scheme, you are leaving thousands of dollars in gross profit on the table. A premium brand identity allows you to command labor rates that are 20 to 30% higher than your competitors because you are selling peace of mind, not just spark plugs. Consider the case of Thomas, who opened a shop in a high-income suburb of Northern Virginia. When he first started, his shop was called Tom's Auto Repair. His logo was a generic wrench and he wore a stained work shirt every day. Despite his master-level skills, he was constantly haggled on price, and his average repair order struggled to clear $400. After a strategic rebranding, his shop became Altair Automotive, Precision European Service. He invested in professional signage, a clean white and navy color palette, and high-quality uniforms for his staff. He didn't change his mechanical skills, but he changed the customer's perception of his value. Within 12 months, his ARO jumped to $850. This is not magic. It is the psychological reality of the US market in 2026. Imagine if every touchpoint a customer has with your business felt intentional. This starts with your physical facility. Your business plan must detail the curb-to-counter experience. When a customer pulls into your lot, is it clearly marked where they should park? Is the entrance clean and free of discarded tires and oil drums? In 2026, the lobby experience is a major differentiator. Your plan should include a budget for a modern, tech-friendly waiting area. We are talking about high-speed Wi-Fi, comfortable workstations for remote professionals, and a high-quality coffee station. Case studies of shops that upgraded their waiting areas show potential outcomes of higher customer retention among the work-from-home demographic, who can now drop off their car and continue their workday without interruption. Your digital identity is the second half of this branding equation. In the United States, your website is often the first and only chance you have to make a first impression. A 2026 business plan must specify a mobile-first web strategy. Most of your customers will find you while they are stressed, sitting in their car on the side of the road, or in a parking lot. Your site must load in under 2 seconds and have a prominent Book Now or Call Now button. It should feature high-resolution, original photography of your actual team and your actual shop. Stock photos of generic mechanics are a red flag to modern consumers. They want to see the real people who will be touching their vehicle. Furthermore, let's look at the voice of your brand. Are you the neighborly family-owned shop that has been in town for 40 years? Or are you the high-tech, performance-oriented lab for specialized enthusiasts? Your business plan should define your brand voice guidelines. This ensures that every social media post, every email response, and every text message sent through your shop management system sounds consistent. Historical trends in US marketing suggest that consistency breeds trust, and trust is the primary currency of the auto repair industry. If your brand sounds professional and authoritative online but disorganized and scattered on the phone, the trust loop is broken. We must also discuss the role of social proof in your brand architecture. In 2026, a customer is more likely to believe a stranger's review on Google than your own advertisement. Your plan should detail a reputation management workflow. This isn't just about getting 5-star reviews. It's about how you respond to the 2-star reviews. A professional, empathetic response to a negative review can actually do more to build your brand than a dozen positive ones. It shows potential customers that you are accountable and that you stand behind your work. This is a critical component of the zero-trust environment that many U.S. consumers operate in today. The customer experience, or CX, goes beyond the physical and digital. It is about the moment of truth, the vehicle delivery. Your business plan should include a white glove delivery protocol. Imagine if every car you service was returned with a vacuumed interior, a small branded bottle of water in the cup holder, and a personalized note from the technician explaining exactly what was done to ensure the vehicle's safety. These small, low-cost gestures create a peak-end effect, where the customer's final memory of the interaction is overwhelmingly positive. Case studies from the hospitality industry, applied to automotive repair, show that these small details are what drive organic word-of-mouth referrals, the most valuable form of marketing in the United States. Another vital branding element in 2026 is your community impact statement. Today's consumers, especially younger generations in the U.S., want to do business with companies that align with their values. Your business plan should outline your shop's commitment to sustainability and community support. Are you recycling your fluids through certified vendors? Are you moving toward a paperless digital workflow? Do you offer a Tech of the Month scholarship for a local high school student? These aren't just feel-good stories. They are powerful brand pillars that differentiate you from the faceless national chains that only care about the bottom line. Branding is also your most powerful recruitment tool. When you have a professional, high-authority brand, the best technicians in your city want to wear your patch. They want to be associated with a winner. Your business plan should recognize that your internal brand, how your employees view the company, is just as important as your external brand. If your shop is seen as a high-tech, professional environment, you won't have to chase talent. Talent will find you. As we move toward the final stages of this masterclass, it is clear that a successful auto repair shop in 2026 is a complex ecosystem of technical skill, financial discipline, and psychological branding. You have built the machine, you have hired the crew, and you have painted the exterior. But there is one final piece of the puzzle that most entrepreneurs forget until it is too late. It is the growth and scalability phase. How do you take a single successful shop and turn it into a multi-location empire? How do you step away from the daily operations without the whole thing falling apart? In the next part, we are going to look at the exit strategy in multi-shop operations. We are going to explore how to build a business that is SOP-driven rather than owner-driven. We are moving from being a shop owner to being a true automotive executive. The roadmap to expansion starts with the very first system you document. The transition from being a shop owner who is essential to daily operations to becoming a true automotive executive is the most difficult psychological and structural hurdle in the United States aftermarket. In 2026, the industry is witnessing a massive consolidation as private equity firms and multi-shop operations, or MSOs, aggressively acquire independent garages. Historical trends indicate that these buyers aren't looking for the most talented mechanic. They are looking for the most robust standard operating procedures, or SOPs. If your business stops functioning the moment you take a vacation, you don't own a business. You own a high-stress job. To scale or eventually sell for a significant multiple, your business plan must detail a transition from owner-dependent to system-dependent. Consider the case study of Brian, who operated a highly successful six-bay shop in Indianapolis. Brian was the heart of the business. He greeted every customer, personally inspected every complex diagnostic, and handled every parts dispute. When he decided he wanted to open a second location 15 miles away, his first shop immediately began to suffer. Customer satisfaction scores plummeted, and his lead technicians felt unsupported. Brian had failed to document the tribal knowledge in his head. His business plan for expansion was just a hope that he could be in two places at once. Contrast this with the potential outcomes of an SOP-driven model where every single action, from how the shop is opened at 7 a.m. to the specific wording of a follow-up text message, is documented in a digital operations manual. Imagine if your shop ran like a high-performance franchise without you having to pay the franchise fees. This starts with the creation of your internal university. In 2026, the most successful independent shops in the U.S. are building their own training modules. Your business plan should outline how you will use video and digital documentation to train new hires. If a new service advisor joins your team, they shouldn't have to guess how to use your shop management software or how to handle a disgruntled customer. They should have access to a library of 3-minute videos showing exactly how your shop operates. This level of systematization is what makes a business scalable. It allows you to replicate your success in a second, third, or fourth location because you are deploying a proven system, not just a person. Scaling to multiple locations requires a different financial and leadership mindset. In your business plan, you must account for the regional manager role. This is the individual who oversees the shop managers at each location. Historical trends show that once an entrepreneur reaches 3 locations, they can no longer effectively manage the granular details of each shop. You need a centralized dashboard that tracks the key performance indicators of all locations in real time. You should be able to see at a glance if location A has a lower average repair order than location B, or if location C is struggling with technician productivity. This data-driven oversight allows you to identify problems before they impact your bottom line. Let's look at the concept of centralized operations. As you scale in the U.S. market, you can find significant cost savings by centralizing certain functions. For example, many successful MSOs use a centralized call center or a dedicated digital service advisor who handles all inbound inquiries and appointment scheduling for multiple locations. This ensures a consistent brand experience and allows the on-site staff to focus entirely on the vehicles in the bays. Your business plan should explore the potential outcomes of centralizing your marketing, your payroll, and even your high-level diagnostic support. By having one master diagnostic technician who can remote into scan tools at any of your locations, you maximize your highest-paid talent and provide a level of technical support that a single location shop simply cannot match. The exit strategy is the final chapter of your business plan, but it must be written at the beginning. In the 2026 landscape, there are several common paths for a successful U.S. shop owner. The first is an internal succession plan, where you transition ownership to a family member or a long-term employee. This requires a multi-year plan for mentoring and a clear legal framework for the transfer of equity. The second path is an external sale to a larger MSO or a private equity group. These buyers typically pay a multiple of your EBITDA, and that multiple increases significantly if you have multiple locations and a clean, SOP-driven operation. A third path is a merger, where you join forces with another local shop to create a larger, more competitive entity with better bargaining power with parts vendors. Imagine the scenario of Maria, a shop owner in San Jose who specialized in high-end electric vehicle performance tuning. By 2026, her shop had become a regional leader. Because she had a meticulous business plan that documented every proprietary process and maintained flawless financial records, she was approached by a national EV service chain. Because her shop was system-dependent, they offered her a valuation multiple that was 30% higher than the industry average. She wasn't just selling her tools and her lease, she was selling a turnkey revenue machine. This is the ultimate goal of the automotive executive. We must also address the risks of rapid expansion. Case studies of failed automotive groups often point to over-leveraging. If you take on too much debt to open new locations before your first location is fully optimized and profitable, a single economic downturn can collapse the entire structure. Your business plan must include a stress test section. What happens if fuel prices spike and car counts drop by 15%? What happens if a major competitor moves in next door to your newest location? A resilient expansion plan includes a cash reserve and a slow, methodical approach to growth that prioritizes the health of the existing shops over the vanity of adding more locations. Furthermore, as you become an executive, your role shifts from technical management to leadership development. You are no longer fixing cars, you are fixing the people who fix the cars. Your plan should detail how you will identify and groom future leaders within your organization. The technician who is great at diagnostics might not be the best shop manager. You need to provide leadership training and clear career paths. In the U.S., the shops with the highest retention are those where employees can see a future for themselves that goes beyond the bay. If an apprentice knows that they could one day manage their own location within your company, their loyalty and performance will reflect that ambition. You have now moved from the foundation of a single bay to the architecture of a regional empire. You have built a brand, a team, and a financial system that is built to last. But even with a multi-location operation and a clear exit strategy, there is one final piece that binds everything together. It is the ability to adapt to the black swan events and the technological disruptions that we haven't even imagined yet. In the final part of this masterclass, we are going to look at the future-proofing of your business plan. We are going to look at the next 10 years of the U.S. automotive industry, from autonomous vehicle maintenance to the integration of artificial intelligence in shop management. We are going to ensure that the business you build today is still the market leader in 2036. The future is coming faster than a diagnostic scan, and you need to be ready to catch it. The future of the American automotive aftermarket is not a distant horizon. It is the ground shifting beneath your feet as you watch this. In 2026, we are at the epicenter of a technological convergence that will redefine what it means to be an auto repair entrepreneur. To ensure that your business plan is not just a relic of the past by 2030, you must integrate future-proofing strategies that account for the electrification of the U.S. fleet, the rise of connected vehicle data, and the implementation of artificial intelligence in shop operations. Historical trends suggest that shops that fail to pivot during technological revolutions, like the transition from carburetors to fuel injection in the 1980s, are the ones that vanish. The stakes are even higher today because the complexity of the modern vehicle is increasing exponentially. Consider the case of Jordan, who owns a high-volume shop in suburban Detroit. In 2026, Jordan realized that over 15% of the vehicles entering his bays had some form of high-voltage powertrain or advanced driver assistance systems that required specialized calibration. Instead of turning this work away, his business plan included a dedicated budget for ADAS calibration equipment and a subscription to manufacturer-level secure gateway access. While his competitors were sending customers back to the dealership for simple windshield replacements or minor front-end repairs that required sensor recalibration, Jordan's shop became the local hub for complex electronics. Potential outcomes for his business included a 40% increase in sublet revenue that he used to keep in-house. He wasn't just fixing cars, He was maintaining the mobile computers that the American public now drives. Imagine if your shop management software didn't just track your inventory, but actually predicted your failures before they happened. In the next decade, artificial intelligence will move from a buzzword to a fundamental tool for the U.S. shop owner. Your business plan should outline a path toward AI-integrated diagnostics. We are seeing the emergence of tools that can analyze acoustic data from an engine or vibration data from a chassis to identify a failing bearing or a microscopic vacuum leak with 99% accuracy. By 2028, these tools will be standard. If your operational plan doesn't account for the training and acquisition of AI-assisted diagnostic aids, your technicians will be spending hours on billable time that an AI-equipped shop can resolve in minutes. This is about labor efficiency on a scale we have never seen before. We must also address the connected car and the battle for data. In 2026, the right to repair movement in the United States is fighting to ensure that independent shops have the same access to telematics data as the original equipment manufacturers. Your business plan needs a strategy for data monetization. Imagine a scenario where a customer's vehicle sends a remote diagnostic trouble code directly to your shop server before the customer even knows there is a problem. You can proactively call the customer, offer a specialized towing service if the fault is critical, and have the parts ordered and waiting before the car hits your lot. This level of proactive service is what will separate the premium brands from the commodity garages. Case studies of early adopters of telematics integration show a significant lift in customer loyalty because the shop becomes a guardian of the vehicle's health, rather than just a place to go when things break. Furthermore, let's talk about the physical infrastructure of your shop in a world dominated by electric vehicles. By 2030, a significant portion of the vehicles on U.S. roads will be fully electric or plug-in hybrids. Your business plan must include a phased approach to EV infrastructure. This isn't just about buying a few pairs of high-voltage gloves. You need to consider the electrical capacity of your building. Does your commercial lease allow for the installation of Level 2 or Level 3 charging stations? Can your shop floor support the increased weight of EV battery packs, which can add upwards of 1,500 pounds to a standard vehicle's curb weight? Historical trends in the European market, which is ahead of the US in EV adoption, show that shops that invested early in specialized EV lifts and battery cooling service equipment captured the highest margin customers in their regions. Sustainable practices are also moving from a marketing nice-to-have to a regulatory requirement and a consumer expectation. In 2026, the EPA is tightening regulations on shop waste and chemical runoff. Your business plan should include a green shop certification path. This involves not only the proper disposal of hazardous materials, but also the transition to water-based paints in your body shop operations and the use of energy-efficient shop equipment. Imagine the marketing power of being the first carbon-neutral repair shop in your city. For the 2026 consumer, especially the younger demographic that is starting to dominate the car buying market, this is a major factor in their choice of service provider. As we look toward 2036, we must also consider the role of 3D printing in the parts supply chain. We are already seeing the potential outcomes of additive manufacturing in specialized automotive applications. In the future, instead of waiting 3 days for a discontinued plastic trim piece or a specialized bracket for a classic car, your shop might have the capability to print that part on-site using manufacturer-certified CAD files. While this may seem like science fiction today, your long-term business plan should acknowledge the shifting nature of parts procurement. The inventory of the future may be a library of digital files, rather than a shelf full of boxes. The most important aspect of future-proofing is the agile leadership mindset. Your business plan is not a static document. It is a framework for adaptation. Every year, you should conduct a technology audit of your business. Are your diagnostic tools up to date? Is your marketing still reaching your target demographic on the platforms they actually use? Are your technicians being trained on the latest propulsion systems? Historical trends show that the most successful U.S. entrepreneurs are those who are constantly learning and willing to cannibalize their own outdated processes to make room for something better. We have reached the end of this masterclass, but for you, this is the starting line. You have the blueprint for a world-class automotive repair business. You have the legal structure to protect yourself, the marketing machine to attract customers, the operational workflows to ensure efficiency, the financial discipline to guarantee profit, and the leadership strategy to scale. You have built a brand that stands for quality and a team that is prepared for the technological revolution of the next decade. The American dream of shop ownership is alive and well, but it belongs to the prepared. It belongs to the technician who is willing to become a CEO. It belongs to the entrepreneur who sees a car not just as a machine, but as a mobile data center that requires expert care. You are now equipped with the tactical knowledge to take your vision from a dream to a multi-shop reality. The bays are open, the tools are ready, and the future is yours to command. If you follow this roadmap with discipline and a commitment to excellence, the potential outcomes for your business are limited only by your own ambition. It is time to step out from under the lift and take your seat in the front office. Your business plan is ready. Now go build your empire. If you are ready to take the next step and see exactly how to calculate your loaded labor rate using a real-world spreadsheet, you can look into our specialized financial modeling deep dive. Would you like me to generate a comprehensive equipment list for a modern 5-bay diagnostic shop, including current 2026 pricing?